is going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. This is an emergency live stream. This is an emergency live stream. Bitcoin just broke $91,000 and it looks like we going straight to $94,000. This looks really, really good. This looks really, really, really good. Live stream. Woo! Hold on. Yeah. There we go. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, this is an emergency live stream. I just saw the price of Bitcoin breaking $91,000, and I thought, why not just do a live stream? Why not just talk about, why not just jump on YouTube for a few minutes and talk about what we are seeing in the chart of Bitcoin? If you have been watching my updates, I told you guys that BTC was looking very bullish, and I am expecting $97,000 in the next couple of days. I gave you between 10 to 20 days. I'm expecting a $97,000. So now that we have broken above $91,000, let's talk about what we are seeing in the chart. Let's talk about short-term price targets. Let's talk about structure, and let's talk about why this is an exciting time for the price of Bitcoin. But not just Bitcoin. The altcoin market is on fire. So you go down and if you look at the performance of altcoins, some of the coins that we talked about recently, this is AVAX. So we say AVAX was very bullish. AVAX was breaking above, was in the bullish divergency where price was putting in those lower highs and lower lows, but the RSI and the MACD were putting in higher highs and higher lows. And we talked about a potential trade, taking advantage of a potential 20% move, and we talked about risk, risking less than 10%, trying to capture 20, 30, 40, 50%. And, not just AVAX, we talked about SUI. SUI was around $1.40. And we talked about this trade right here, currently at $1.68, already up about 20%. But we are, looking at a price of SUI heading towards, this $2.20 and $2.70. So this is a range right here. You're looking at a 60, potentially 80% move, and the risk is about 9%, guys. And the beauty is that, look, 90%, between 60 and 90%. The risk is only about 9%. And the beauty is that if you took this trade right here, you should have already raised your stop loss. So, regardless of what happens from here on, you are going to walk away with some profits. But this is really good, guys. This is really, really good. So once again, this is a quick emergency update. I do want to talk about the price of Bitcoin briefly. We just broke $91,000. And I think, not that I think, looking at the setup, this looks really, really good. For the first time, not the first time. I have been very excited the last couple of days. But when Bitcoin was doing this, I wasn't really excited. We were just going sideways, not really doing much, not breaking any structures. But recently we managed to, break out. We managed to, we talked about this bear flag. So recently we managed to break out right here. We also talked about this bear flag right here, guys. So we talked about this bear flag, and I say, hey, listen, we are literally sitting at the support. So chances are, we are going to see a Bitcoin that is trading around $96,000 and $97,000 in about 10 to 20 days. So if you go back to my YouTube, if you are a follower, if you are someone who's watched my updates, I gave you about 10 to 20 days. That was from 2 days ago, but not just 2 days ago. We here, guys, we said, hey, guys, even though price is, really doing this, all of this right here, something very positive is happening when you look at RSI and MACD. Anyways, guys. All right, so a quick live stream, an emergency live stream. I'm not going to be here for too long. I've already done a proper live stream. So if you haven't had a chance, I do recommend that you watch this live stream right here, guys. This is from earlier today, about 3-4 hours ago. But I'm gonna give you guys a quick update on the price of Bitcoin. So let's jump to it, man. Let me see what we have in the chat. What is going on, brother? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too as well, guys. Guys, if you are just tuning into my live stream in 2026, I do want to wish you guys a big 2026. And look, the number one wish is I wish you guys to be healthy in 2026. Forget about the market. Forget about, whatever else is going on in your life. I wish you nothing but great health in 2026. But of course, I wish you to do very well in the markets. But health should be number one. So I'm wishing you guys great health in 2026. Anyways, so would you be willing to give your thoughts and prediction on ACH? Yes, absolutely. ASM. Those altcoins, I'm going to be bluntly honest. You want to stay as far. I mean, look, in the short term, you can do some stuff in the short term, but long term, try to stay as far away as you can from those projects. Earlier today, I talked about what type of a setup that you should look for if you are looking at long term investment. Again, if you haven't had a chance, and guys, look, I know you guys might not like me talking about this, but if you haven't had a chance, please, I highly recommend that you watch earlier live stream from about, in terms of long-term outlooks. Look, watch it from about 42 minutes in or 43, somewhere around 44, 45. Watch it from there, guys. Watch the next 20 minutes, and you should get great value from there. Anyways, let me talk about Bitcoin. So let's make sure you guys can actually hear me perfectly. So let's talk about Bitcoin, guys. Look, Bitcoin is very bullish in the short term. Bitcoin is very bullish in the short term. What we have right here is a bear flag, okay? But even though a bear flag is a bearish pattern, the price should be able to go from the mid $80,000 range to around $96,000, $97,000, $99,000. So my prediction is that we are going to go from here all the way up to $96,000, $99,000 in the next 10 or 20 days. We're already a few days into my prediction, and price has already broken above $90,000. But the reason I strongly believe in going to $96,000, $98,000, $99,000, it is simply because if you look at the behavior, if you look at the characteristic, and if you look how Bitcoin has traded these last couple weeks, all right, going back to November 21st, Bitcoin has been trading between the low $80,000 and the low $90,000. And we have established a very clear range. So every time the price of Bitcoin seems to come to around $92,000, $93,000, $94,000, we tend to get rejected. And every time we come back towards $83,000, $82,000, $84,000, we tend to get a bounce. So here we had a bounce. Here we had a bounce. So this gives us a nice clear trend line. And when I was looking at Bitcoin right here, guys, I was very convinced that we were more likely bottoming out, and we were more likely looking at a Bitcoin that goes back to retest what? The resistance right here, guys. So always, whenever the price is at a support, your primary outlook is for the support to do exactly what a support is out there to do. And that is acting as a support. That is supporting. So you should always, I'm going to say, look, I'm not going to say 99%, but I'm going to say a higher percentage when price is at a support. You should always have the belief that the support is going to hold and price will bounce until you are proven otherwise. So the only way you are proven otherwise is once the support is broken. So I was very convinced that we were going to get a bounce right here, and we did get a bounce. And look at where the price of Bitcoin is. Now, my prediction is that we are looking at a Bitcoin that comes all the way up here, all right, to retest the resistance. And once we do get into this $98,000 range, my primary outlook on BTC is to get rejected. So I think we are going to get rejected right here because that's exactly what a resistance is going to do. All right, it is going to resist. So I do think we are going to get rejected around, $98,000, and then we can talk about, what is after. That is a totally different conversation. What I want to focus on today is this move right here. So we have a move that is more likely, sending us into this 96, 97, $98,000 range. All right. Another reason why I'm very positive and why I'm expecting price to go up is because if you go from the absolute top of the bull market, $126,000, and then you connect it to this high, this lower high right here, guys, this gives us a very beautiful trend line that looks like this. So, all right, when we had this bounce right here, we were rejected again, and the trend line was created. When we had this little bounce right here, all right, we were rejected. So ended up with this pullback right here. When we had this rally right here, once again, we were rejected. We were not rejected by the trend line, but I bet if we would have tried to get, to make contact with a trend line, I bet most likely we would have got rejected. So came all the way down to $80,000 and then, try to go up again. Once again, ended up with another lower high. And then we ended up with a pullback right here. Tried again, ended up with another lower high. Ended up with another pullback right here. And then right down here, we got a beautiful resistance trend line that was also, created. So if you go from this high right here, you connect it to this one right here, gives us a nice trend line again, right? That acts as resistance. But this is the main trend line right here, the one that goes from $126,000 all the way down here, guys. So recently, we managed to break out. I got very excited once we broke out. So if you think about this breakout right here, all right, this is major, guys. This is not something that you want to take lightly. And I do think this is going to lead us to a very positive move. And as you can clearly see, the beginning of it is very positive, right? Price going from 84,000, which is right here. Price going from $87,000. Now $91,000. This is very, very positive, guys. And I think we just had we already closed the daily candle. All right, so we closed January 3rd is already closed. So this is Sunday's candle right here, guys. So I do think we are more likely to be green. Look, we are green for the last 3 days. All right, green daily candles consecutively. If you go to the Heikin Ashi candles, all right, now this one is even more clear. All right, so if you look at the Heikin Ashi candles, guys, look, Bitcoin has been green basically for the last, here you got 5, and then here you have 2 for the last 7 days, all right? I'm not going to include the current green because, it's extremely early, right? Like we got about 23 more hours to go. So, things can change. But if you look at these Heikin Ashi candles, we got more green. We don't even have, we got some reds right here, but if you start from right here, like this looks really good. So I do think from here on and going forward, I do think we are going to see more green daily candles. All right. If you stay with the Heikin Ashi candles, I honestly, look, it wouldn't surprise me if we actually continue green, with these Heikin Ashi candles until we get to around, $96,000, $98,000. But of course, if you go to, regular candles, we might get some red. We might get one red. I don't know. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe the day after. Maybe not even the day after. But at some point, all right, we might see a red candle. But anyways, this looks really, really good. Another reason why I am positive on price of Bitcoin is because we have managed to break above the 200 moving average, all right? So this is a 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame, guys. Look, this is very positive. Getting above this 200 is very, very positive. So this is another one of my reason. Looking at different indicators, let's see how they have panned out. So looking at different indicators, maybe we do let's take a look at the Bollinger Band. So if you look at the Bollinger Bands, all right, BTC, the hell is going on? Okay, this is weird. Let me see. Let me refresh this. So if you look at the Bollinger Bands, all right, look, BTC is now bullish on the daily based on this indicator right here, guys. Long as the price of Bitcoin stays above this 20-day moving average, which is $88,000, you have a Bitcoin that is bullish. Look, your buy signal was this one right here. Closing above 88,000, closing above this blue line. That was your entry, guys. We might get I don't know if we're going to get a pullback, down to like 88. But probably not. But we'll see, all right? We'll see how this plays out. Anyways, this looks really good. As long as price of BTC stays above $88,000 on this Bollinger Band, we should continue up. And of course, once again, you're looking at $94,000. That is going to be our local resistance. And after $94,000, we are looking at, somewhere around 96. So this is $96,000 right here, guys. All right, maybe $98,000 right there. So looking at this range. We are looking at this range. Yeah, BTC. This is BTC right here. Another indicator, maybe, if you guys, if you don't like this right here. The RSI, guys. I told you once the RSI breaks above the 50 line, that is going to be very positive. So we broke above the 50 line. MACD is about to break above the 0 line. Another positive indicator. Another indicator turning positive. And remember, the MACD is just extremely, extremely lagging. Like this is. Anyways, doesn't even matter. And also, if you just look at this breakout right here from this point right here, if you just go from, maybe we go to the lower time frame. So if you go to the 4-hour, guys, look, you could say this is your breakout. Here you get a breakout, and then you get a retest of the breakout, and then dun 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 dun, bang, and then we're taking off. Notice how every single one of these pullback right here, we respected this $88,000 range. So, I mean, look, TA-wise, BTC looks very good in the short term. All right. But remember, bigger picture. All right, bigger picture, chat. Just in case you guys are chat, let me tell you something. They are going to start talking about how BTC they're going to start talking about how BTC is going back to all-time highs. Let me be the first to give you a warning. Be careful out there, guys. I know, look, there's a lot of people out there that are looking at Bitcoin and comparing this right here to this right here. Trust me. I get it. They kind of look very identical. And if somebody say, hey, this looks just like this one, and we're about to see one of these right here. Let me see. And we're about to see one of these right here. All right, this is a 70% move, guys. Chat, maybe. I don't have a crystal ball, maybe. But I don't think so. All right, I do not think so. To me, this, even though price-wise you can make an argument that this looks exactly like this, I don't know. I'm not convinced. When I go to the monthly and I pull up my 10 monthly moving average, we have lost it. We have lost the 10 monthly moving average. And we're not just talking about, losing it in this fashion right here, where you have, a couple wicks, like you wick down below the moving average. No, I'm talking about price. All right. Closing below the 10 monthly moving average, guys. Not only that, well, maybe I should change colors. All right, anyways, now it should be fine. Not only that, all right, look, we now have a declining 10 monthly moving average. That is not what a bullish Bitcoin looks like on the monthly. All right, so that to me is no bueno. And then when you go back to the weekly, let's talk about the weekly, guys. Look, we lost the 50 weekly moving average. Let me get rid of the blue line. This is the 50 weekly. Once again, we're not just talking about, wicking down. Like, it's not wick down below the 50. No, we are talking about comfortably trading below the 50 weekly moving average. This is not bueno right here. Absolutely not. All right. So, you go back to past bear markets, you look at the beginning of it. They look exactly like that. They look exactly like that. So, yeah, look, for me personally, I don't think we are going to see a new all-time high. In my opinion, all right, based on my analysis, I think what Bitcoin is doing is working on a day cap bounce. And also, Chad, let me remind you. Actually, this is very important because I haven't talked about this. Let me show you what Bitcoin typically does in a bear market. Let me show you the difference between daily, daily rallies and in a bear market, and how we tend to bottom compared to how we tend to bottom when BTC is in a long-term bullish uptrend. So this is a bear flag right here. All right, and I'm going to show you multiple bear flags. All right, or even if it's not just bear flags, like you see multiple just bearish, consolidation phase before the next breakdown. So notice how, look, right now, Bitcoin's consolidation is higher highs and higher lows, but in the form of a bear flag. If you look at the last one, that was not the case, guys. The last one, we have BTC consolidating in the form of a falling wedge. So if you look at the last one right here, I want you to take a look at the difference between the last, bottom consolidation compared to the one we have right now. Notice how this one right here, BTC was bottoming out in a pattern that looks like this, where price is doing this. All right. And then we finally get a breakout and then we go up, compared to this one where BTC is consolidating in a pattern that looks like this and price is moving like this. All right. And what I'm telling you right now is that we are eventually going to get rejected, and then we're going to get a drop, and then we get a retest, and then bang. All right. So if you go back and you look at the other consolidation, this one is even bigger because this was taking place on the weekly. So I want you guys to take it this. Notice how you get lower lows. All right. You get lower lows right here. You might get some lower highs, or you might get, a bunch of different behavior or different style. All right. This was the biggest one. On the weekly, this one is a little bit more organized. It's not as chaotic as on the daily. So this is the weekly right here. Once again, look at the weekly. And then I want to go back to the daily. And then you go to the last one right here, chat. Once again, boom. Look, it is the same consolidation, chat. And then we get a breakout. Notice how, look how it is tilting towards downward, okay? It's like this. It is like this. All right? It's not like, whoops. It is not like this, chat. All right? This is not what is happening. And I want to make sure you guys see what's going on. Look at the bottom of the last bear market, guys. Look at this right here. Tilting towards downward, not upwards, okay? Look at this right here. Now, let me show you bear market type of consolidation. Chad, let me show you something. This is the one right here. Tell me this is not very identical to what we have right now. All right? This is a bear flag. You get these higher highs, and then you also get these higher lows. Chad, you tell me, isn't this very similar to what we have right now? All right. I mean, look, I'll let you guys be the judge. Isn't this very similar to this? All right. I mean, look at this right here, guys. And then you go back again. Look, I want to make sure I show you multiple examples because, I don't want you to think, oh, that is only one of them. Chad, look at this one right here. All right. Look at this one right here. Is this not what we have right now? Now, what about this one right here, chat? Look at this one right here. Guys, I know it's kind of messy, but what about that one? Let me remove a bunch of this stuff. So what about this one right here? Isn't this basically what's happening right now? Now, this one is just, a little bit longer, all right, or bigger if you want to say that. Now, what about this one right here? Look at this one right here too, chat. Look at this one right here. All right, I want you guys to look at this stuff right here, guys. Look, these are bear flags. And, price ends up dumping. Now, let's go back to, because I don't just want to comment on the last bear market. What if we go back to, like, the 2018 bear market, all right? How was this set up, okay? Look at the setup right here, guys. Look. All right, look at this right here, guys. Look at this. Okay? Look, I am telling you right now, guys, I can go on, and we can identify a bunch of these. Look at this right here. All right? No, look, you see the similarities, guys? And you come back, there's another one right here. Guys, I'm not cherry picking. Literally, it is plenty of them. There we go. And what about this one right here? Look at the small ones. If you go down to like the 1 hour, this one is actually big. But on the daily, we just don't have too much price action. But look at this right here, guys. This is not bullish. Even if we go back to, and then if we go to the bull market, once again, let's take a look at the bull market. Look at consolidation during a bull market, guys. Look. Look at this right here. All right. Once again, notice how it is the opposite of what we have right now. All right. And again, I can go on and on. This is 2017 bull market. Like, I don't want to go all the way back. I mean, listen, not that I don't want to. So, bigger picture, all right? I don't want any of you guys to get caught up in this mess right here. I believe we have a bearish divergence, a bear flag. And look, we don't even have to go to $96,000. 96 is because this is where the resistance is. But we actually don't have to get to $96,000. Like, this is not promised. Bitcoin doesn't have to do anything. This could be, we go to 94,000, or we even go to somewhere around here and then reject it, and then we ended up boom. Yeah, but I don't like what I am seeing right here from a bigger picture outlook. Not in the short term. In the short term, I'm bullish because my expectation is that, our highest probability is a retest of this yellow line right here. But bigger picture wise, I do not like it. All right. I wouldn't put dollars in Bitcoin as a long-term investment right now. Absolutely not. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys. All right. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys. I wanted to look. My hope is that I provide value, even if it's not, the most comfortable conversation to have. There's not many of us that are talking about this stuff. But of course, everyone reads the market different. So I'm not expecting the next person, to be bullish on the market short term as I am. I'm not expecting them to be bearish on the market long term because I'm bearish. No, just, It's technical analysis. There's different ways to interpret what's going on in the chart. For me personally, I don't look. I like it short term. I don't like it long term. All right, let me take a look at some of the stuff that you guys. So yeah, that is it with Bitcoin. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. But otherwise, let me analyze those altcoins. MSTR, yes, of course. And then, but let me start with ASM and ACH. ASM USD. Yeah, I mean, look, this stuff, absolutely not. I wouldn't touch it. Look, you see, last time I even thought this was going to be something, but it just, yeah. So this one, look, personally, I wouldn't touch it. I I don't even like it because I mean, look at this right here. Like this is a whole lot of mess. Look at these wicks. This is a whole lot of mess, if you ask me. Anyways, though, if I'm looking at this right here, the current price action, I think we are going to flip around. So, look, I don't even have to go to the MACD and the RSI to know that this is a bullish divergency. I can tell this is bullish divergency right here. But if I look at the RSI, look, this looks really good. MACD, this looks really good. So if I'm looking at this, I am going to go with, in terms of targets, like very clear range is this one right here. So if I go from here all the way up, like that is a clear range to me. And this is basically a 30 to a 60% move. So if I'm looking at this right here, I think there's a reason to jump into a position even at the current price. Stop loss would definitely be below 0.008. So in case, in terms of this right here, yeah, I don't. That's too much risk. Maybe we'll go down to the 4 hour. Okay. Stop loss could go below here maybe. And then I'm gonna have that as my first target. Target number 2 somewhere up here. So something like this, you're looking at a 15-30% move. In terms of the risk, you're looking at 7%. Yeah, I like it. I'm putting $1 in. I'm risking $1. I'm going after $2 to $3. I like it in terms of risk management. But yeah, so this looks really good in the short term, I would say. And AC. This one right here, another one that seems to have bottom. So this also looks really good. It's only red because this is a brand new daily candle. So the last one was very positive. In terms of targets, let me go to the weekly and see something. In terms of targets, I'm interested in 1 cent. I don't know if we get there. Yeah, I think 1 cent it's a good one. This is actually really good to me. My stop loss would be right here. In terms of risk, 10% risk. I'm going after potential 40% move. I like it. Yeah, this one looks really good as well. Let's talk about MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is in a big downtrend. Bear market, actually, I should say. And I think we get a big, all right, I do think we get a massive day cap bounce. So if you go to the daily, you go to the week, especially the weekly. The weekly, we have already lost the 200 weekly moving average. I think like right here, around here, we should get it. I mean, honestly, look, the bare minimum, I'm looking, like 230, 220. Yeah, somewhere around here. I think that's the bare minimum. But this range to me looks very interesting. If I look at the 21 weekly, like we are somewhere around 242. So, yeah, something like that wouldn't surprise me. And if we go to the daily, so actually speaking of the weekly The weekly is extremely oversold. Like the weekly has been oversold since mid-November. Like that is just crazy, man. The last time we had an oversold weekly like that, you gotta go back to May of 2022. Right, that was literally towards the bottom of that 2022 bear market. So, anyways, yeah, look, to me, strategy looks really good. Not really good. It looks very bearish, but some sort of a day cap bounce to bring us back into this range right here, I think is more likely. Now, the question is, do we have a setup for it? Look, if you go to the daily, you see some bullish divergency. All right, so as price has been going down, you can clearly see RSI has been trending up, MACD has been trending up. I do think it is only a matter of time. So, if I'm looking at this right here, it's kind of hard to put like a trend line though. But, I think one of these days, we might get a crazy move. If you go to the 4 hour, yeah, it's kind of hard to like put a trend line right here. It looks like this. I guess that works. Then you can say this is a breakout. And this is a retest of the breakout. So actually, yeah, this does work. So if I'm looking at this, to me, I can make an argument that this is an inverse. Now, I'm on the 1 hour, of course. I can make an argument that this is an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Right? So probably we bottom right here and then up. Okay? Something like that. But let's see how this plays out. Now, the other thing to keep an eye on is if this daily continues, do we come back and retest $100, let's just go with $100, but I'm looking at this entire range before we get this counter trend rally. Like, are we looking at a micro strategy that comes all the way down here before we get this move? To me, that's the question. What I would say is that when you zoom out and you go to the weekly, like this is just, like we are long overdue for a weekly bounce. I'm not saying the beginning of another bull market, but a weekly bounce. In my opinion, MicroStrategy, you got at least another 6 months of a downtrend. So this is not something where I look at it and say, all right, long-term wise, we should be building hell no, guys. Absolutely not. Right? I wouldn't look at strategy and say long-term wise, we should be building a position. At some point, we should be able to. But when I look at strategy, to me, this is basically my outlook on the stock. Look, if I take this top right here and I connect it to this, it gives me like a big trend line that looks like this. All right. And this right here, guys, like, you are looking at, like, this trend line takes you all the way into 2028. Now, I know what some of you guys may be thinking, 2028, that is way too far. I'm not saying that we have to wait until 2028, guys, but this is like a long-term outlook. Another option is, you take a trend line, you go from this top right here, you connect it to this one right here. You also get another trend line that looks like this. So, long-term wise, this is June 2026. All right. I know this is not 2028, but this is June 2026. So basically, I don't know if this is the low right here, we are going to get another move up to retest this trend line, and we are going to get rejected. I'm not expecting us to just break out. I think we get rejected, and then we get another pullback, and then maybe we try again, we finally break out, and then we get a pullback of the breakout. This can take some time, man. Like, this is not, right now or in the next 2-3 months. No, this is going to take some time. Or we can even break out from here, but it's not a breakout that takes us to new all-time highs. It's just a breakout that puts us, on the right side of this entire downtrend. And then we spend the next couple months, work. God damn it, guys. Did I just... All right, chat. Excuse me. I think I gotta charge a mouse or something. Oh my gosh, I should have charged it earlier. I do apologize. Just give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. Oh my gosh, man. I hate this. I should have charged the mouse earlier today. This is the second time this is happening today. Oh snap! Yo, chat. Apologize. Oh my god. I apologize. Anyways, so what I was saying was this. I do apologize. Thank you so much. I do apologize. All right. So anyway, what I was saying is this. If you're looking for shorts, this does not make any sense. All right. If you're looking to short strategy, like right here, getting in right here doesn't make any sense. The reason it doesn't make any sense is because if you go from like the top of this rally right here, $450, your strategy is already down 66%. And even if you don't go from there, if you just go from right here, the most recent lower high with 350 whatever dollars, we down about 58%. So if you're looking for some puts or to short strategy, what you want to see is a massive day cap bounce on the weekly. Maybe like, let's say this is the low right here. Maybe we go up about 50%. That gives us a target of $230. Now, this is the perfect time to jump in. because then you can ride it all the way down to around $100. And this is a 50, almost a 60% drop, guys. So this is exactly what I'm waiting for. Like, I'm going to jump into a bunch of puts. Yo, I was looking at strategy right here. Chat, I was looking at strategy in the $300 range. And I was saying that you don't have to like it, but I thought its bull market was over. Yo, chat, all you gotta do is go to my. If you guys don't follow me on X. I do have an account, and I'm trying to be active. And actually, guys, look, I need your help right here. I am trying to get my old YouTube channel, guys. So if you guys have Twitter or X, please share this post right here. Let's see if YouTube can get my channel back up, because I am losing it. Anyways, bang, 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 bang. MSTR. Chad, you want to know what's crazy? Look, this was November 2023, and I was predicting. I mean, of course, this is early bull market. At the time, we were $508, which basically $50 and a couple cents in today's price. I was extremely bullish on strategy, man. Look, right here, guys. I mean, no, this is not the one that I need. Okay, this is the one, chat. Yo, can you imagine if I would have shorted right here? Yo, chat. April 15, unpopular opinion, but MicroStrategy has probably topped in the last bull market. It topped around February 2021. If you guys remember, you just got to go back and look at the chart. In late 2021, guys, Bitcoin went on to put in a new all-time high. But guess what? Strategy, we ended up with a lower high, which was right here. So I was looking at this, and I was like, this thing is done. So can you imagine if I would have jumped into some puts? We were like right here, what was the price? 366. Like, that was literally, guys, the top of this rally. No, that was here. That was back here. April, right here. I would have got smoked, though, unless my stop loss was above the all-time high. I would have got smoked, yeah. That was right here. But anyways, look, you look at the current price. We are currently down 60% from that entry. So if my stop loss was like above here, I would have been fine. But I don't know how good of a trade that would have been. Entry, stop loss, risking about 20-something%. Hey, you know what? Maybe it would have made sense. Actually, it would have made sense. Losing 20% of my capital, going after 60% move, not bad at all. Anyways, look, it is what it is, man. So going back to BTC, chat, BTC is bullish. I do think 96, 90, look, basically somewhere around here, guys. I do think it's possible we hit here. Actually, and you know what's crazy? Actually, speaking of that 96, 98,000, chat, tell me what target it says. If you go to the weekly, what is that? $98,000. And also, you want to know what's crazy, guys? The 21 weekly moving average is at $99,000. That is crazy, too. If we go to 98, we're going to hit the 21 weekly. I think we're going to get rejected. If you go back to the last bear market, look, we got rejected right here, guys. We got rejected. Our first retest right here. This is very similar to what we have right now. So we went from $42,000 to $51,000, and we got rejected, guys. God damn it. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you are new here. Robinhood is bullish. Price should continue up until the trend is over. Yeah, one of my greatest regret this bull market was Robinhood. Oh my gosh, man. I was here when Hood broke above $11, and I was actually very bullish on it. I wasn't looking I wasn't looking at the higher time frame. I was just looking at the short term. I was trading in the short term. But anyway, whatever, man. Who cares, right? We'll catch the next one. So anyway, Robinhood, I'm looking at it right now. Still looks really good, guys. On the weekly, the trend is up. Long as price is above $94. So as long as we above $94, I don't have anything to worry about. But once we go below 94, then we have to talk about a downtrend on the weekly. So if you go to the daily, look, you don't want to be bearish on something, especially if price is above the 200 EMA. Look, we have been above the 200 from $10. So you don't want to be bearish on it. Every pullback should be a buy right now. If you don't want to jump in right here, you can simply just put a trend line and then you look for a breakout. Anything above 130 should send us higher. Yeah, Robinhood looks really good. Just a normal pullback. If you go to the monthly, look, this is a freaking straight line, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the monthly looks really, really good. On the monthly, I like to use the 10 moving average. So to me, as long as price stays above the 10 EMA, fantastic. Below the 10, I don't like it. All right, but this to me looks good. And actually, monthly time frame wise, this is an amazing opportunity to jump in, because if the trend is intact on the monthly, then we should get a bounce right here and we should go up again. Just like we had a bounce right here, and just like we had a bounce right here around 19, around 39, and this is the next retest. So this looks really good to me. All right, altcoins. Altcoins are very bullish, and we actually talked about them earlier today. Some of the trades I share with you people out there this is the first one right here. I think this one is already I think all of them are already in profits actually. So this is a trade that we talked about it. I think this is an entry, and then stop loss. Of course, you're looking. I don't know if this is the one to share, but anyways, this looks really good if you go to the daily. We're targeting around $18. The other one is Sui. Sui is the most successful one, I would say. Entry was around $1.40, and right now $1.68. This is a trade that is already up about, I think maybe like 20%. Already up about 19%. So right now you can actually raise your stop loss. So you should be in profits regardless. You should walk away with profits regardless. So this one we're targeting a 60% move. So looking at $2.25. Another one to share with you guys was XRP. XRP looks really good. All right, I think entry we gave was somewhere back here. Another one, XLM. We said XLM is really good, and we're targeting this 28 to 35, 28 cents to 35 cents range. Minimum target profit wise, you're looking at 22%. And then we also talked about, I think we talked about some others, right? Oh, chat, I do have a Discord. If you guys want to join my Discord, let me put a link in the chat. All right, you got to sign up for 6 months, or you do it for the entire year. 6 months, I believe I'm charging around $200, which is about, I don't know, a few dollars a month, I think, if you break it down. For entire 12 months, I think I'm charging $350. Yeah, I think those are the price. Let me see. Let me go to. Let me copy the link and put it right in the chat. Look, if you want to join, hit the link, send me a DM, and then send me a payment, and then we'll go from there. There we go, guys. I just put my Discord in the chat. Let me actually pin this. There we go. So if you want to join my Discord, guys, hit the link. Not only do you get crypto price analysis, I'm also doing stocks. Okay, I'm doing the equity market. So some of the most recent trades, I'll show. I mean, maybe not. We'll talk about some of them. So this one, for instance. Oh my God, what's the ticker symbol? S, somewhere around here. This one, for instance, guys, I analyzed it earlier this year. At the time, price was around $34, and we said we were looking to ride it all the way up to 60, which was a 100% move. And not only did we get to 160, guys, we ended up with a 200% profit. So this is an example of it. And then we had this pullback. So recently I analyzed it. I don't know what the entry I gave, but anyways, I think maybe somewhere around here. Currently in profit, and I'm looking at a retest of this $100, and then others. We traded Alibaba from down here 120 all the way up to these targets, and then Alibaba had a pullback, and right now I am looking for another trade. So this is another trade. Oh, this is a breakout now. Speaking of Alibaba, this looks really good. So I'm just going to give you guys a trade right now. There we go. Here's one right here, guys. Boom. All right, this is a nice breakout, so something to take advantage of. And then there's a bunch of others that we are looking at, or at least I'm going to be posting. Tesla, we traded Tesla. Right? I don't just want to do crypto. I also do stocks. So we traded Tesla from all the way back here. I think I should be able to bring that up. Let me see. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, if you guys want to join my Discord, guys, hit the link. Send me a DM after. If somebody reaches out to you pretending to be me, do not do it, guys. That would not be me. So let me get this. Doesn't mean all trades are right. You know, I have a bunch of wrong trades. So I want to make sure I'm very transparent. But anyways, so Tesla. This is one that we traded. Let me pull up this one. So this is Tesla, guys. You can clearly see here price is around, 284. But, oh, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. I have to charge this thing again. Just give me a second, guys. I gotta charge this. Let me charge this thing for like 2 minutes. I think in about 2 minutes we should be fine. So, this is Tesla, one of our trades. All right, so I give you guys update throughout. So this right here was around 384. Of course, you know what the price is right now, but this was not the entry. I'll show you the entry, guys. The entry was, damn, what am I doing right here? Woo-hoo-hoo. Look at entries, guys. Look. Below $300, and I was looking at $490. And of course, we did hit 490, right, chat? Did we hit 490 in the price of Tesla? Yes, we did. So that was one of our trades. We accumulated, and actually we accumulated way down here. No, not there. Right here. Like right here is where we accumulate. And then we got hit with this big pullback. And then bang. But anyways, so we don't just do stocks. We also do. We don't just do crypto. We also do stocks. I'll show you another one of successful trade. I would say. Plug. This one. I shared this one sometimes this year because you don't just want to catch stocks. You want to jump into a bunch of this stuff. So plug right here, guys. Right here. All right, look at this, guys. Look at this. $1.86. All right, look at that. $1.52. Look at that. You look at plug, ended up going up to like almost $4, I think. Where's plug? Where is plug? There we go. That was right here. This was a breakout. 150 whatever. Ended up going up to 4 something. This was almost a 200% move. So yeah, look, man, this is some of the stuff that try, give me a second. So yeah, so look, if you guys are interested in joining my Discord, that should be the link right there, people. All right, hit the link. Send me a DM. If someone else reaches out to you, that is not me. I don't reach out to you first. You reach out to me, I respond to you. $200, 6 months, $350. You have the entire 2026. We are going to focus on not just the cryptocurrency market, but also stocks. And also, I do swing trading. This is not day trading, guys. So I'm not looking at the market and trying to predict what these coins or these stocks are going to do on a daily basis. No, I am swing trading. I'm looking for good entries, good exit, and I'm also sharing long-term holding stuff. I am not sharing any of these old coins as a long-term strategy right now. Absolutely not, guys. Look, the setup is disgusting. Like, if chat, there's no way I look at something like AIOZ on the monthly and say, hey, this is a good long-term buy. No, this is not a good long-term buy. Now when the chart looks like this thing could potentially go down another 80%. So we don't want to be part of that. Absolutely not. When they turn around and they start looking like this, we are going to participate. Anyways, appreciate you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the live. I just did another hour. I thought I was going to do 20, 30 minutes, but I just did another hour. So, yeah, look, Happy New Year. Hopefully you guys are having a good one so far. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.